What is voting? The right to vote. One of the benefits of being a citizen of the United States is the promise of exercising certain rights. The U.S. Constitution and its amendments state these rights. One of the most important is the right to vote. Many Americans view this as a civic duty and take great pride in it. Make a choice. When members of a group of people each make a choice and each person's choice is counted, that's voting. You may have voted by simply raising your hand in class to pick what movie to watch. Some TV shows let fans call in, text, or visit a website to vote for winners each week. It's official. When people talk about voting, they most often mean making an official choice for a government leader. When many people vote at the same time, it's called an election. Voters visit polling places during elections. Polling places are buildings such as churches and fire stations where people gather to vote. Kinds of ballots. At a polling place, voters use a ballot to make their choice. Ballots can be made of paper. Paper ballots are counted by hand or read by a machine. In some states, voters use computers to cast their vote. Voters press a button or touch the screen to make their choice. Becoming a voter. U.S. voters must be citizens who turn 18 years old on or before the next election day. They also must be registered to vote. In order to register in a state, a person needs to live in that state for a certain amount of time. The amount of time is different from state to state. When to vote. Most people vote on the day of an election. Many states allow people to vote before that too. Early voting helps more people vote in an election. They might even be able to vote weeks ahead of the election. The rules about early voting are different from state to state. Absentee voting. Every state gives out ballots to people who can't vote the day of the election. This may be because they live outside of their home state. These are called absentee ballots. U.S. citizens living in other countries and people in the military often vote by absentee ballot. It's still voting, even though the voters aren't there in person. Primary elections. Before a primary election, such as a presidential election, some states have a special kinds of elections called primaries. In a primary election, voters choose one person from each political party to run in the larger election. In some states, people can only vote in primary elections if they belong to a political party. People commonly vote in a primary in the same way they do in other elections. Count for the win. After voters send in their absentee ballots or go to the polling place, votes are counted. Most often, the person who receives the most votes is the winner. In this way, voters choose many people who serve in government, such as mayors, members of Congress, and local representatives. Voters' voice. Voters never have to pay to vote. All voting is done in secret. Though most citizens over age 18 have the right to vote, some people choose not to vote. No one is forced to vote. Voting is important because it gives citizens a say in who will speak for them in government.